like for a minute there, everybody in like finance wanted to take and make blue lit signs at night. And when you see them from the highway, like actively track this at night when you're driving. If you guys slow down to like 100 miles an hour. So when you look at business signage, it's much tougher to read small blue, like glowing signs than it is other colors. And the best colors are not something that's closer to infrared. And anything that starts to get into that section of the spectrum is where we have a hard time seeing because we can't see it. So this is where like there's blue that's easy to see, and then as soon as it gets closer to like a cooler color, it actually becomes more difficult for our eyes to see. So that's all the nerdy science that I got some formal education on. So there is some element of the fine arts degree that I get.
Did you notice the dig at us? We were talking about driving, and she goes, "Y'all guys are crazy down here." Like, yeah.
Well, you have the space to go that fast. Yeah. So I respect the culture. You know what I mean? So I'm not hating the players.
Is this your first time down here?
No, I come down here for like every NRA show. I'm down here, but I'm not driving a lot in this area. The last time that I was in a car in Texas on a regular, like a fair amount of driving for it was almost like
last time.
Well, yeah, last time, but 20-ish years ago, 2006.
Yeah,
when we were down here for music, when we were touring the U.S. and Canada, playing music, and we played in Texas, and shit was wild back then.
Yeah.
I just remember, like, you couldn't exit. Like, we'd put your turn signal on to, like, get out of the middle lane, and people are like, fuck you, you're not exiting. I'm like, God damn.
You're stuck here with us.
You know, and I was like, all right, fine, we'll turn the New York on. Like, whatever. So.
Yeah. Just don't turn the San Bernardino on. That was.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, California drivers, man, they cut you off in slow motion. It's, like, boring.
Years ago.
I don't understand.
Years ago, this was like
nothing beats
Lollapalooza,
Connecticut. But
when Prodigy came out with the album that had "Smack My Bitch Up" and all that Firestarter record, whatever that Fat of the Land.
Fat
that's
of the
what
Land.
it was.
Yeah.
Prodigy came out of this. So me and my buddies, I had worked in the music industry, and me and my buddies from New York had flown out to Los Angeles. And I met up with my other buddy, Matt, who lives in Los Angeles. And he's like, oh, we're going to go meet Mark from Mute Records over at the Hollywood, some hotel, bougie hotel. And he's like, we're going to go to Lollapalooza. And I was like, oh, I have a pass. I had a backstage pass for Lollapalooza. I was like, I'll ride with you guys. And he's like, well, we're going to go with all the guys from Mute Records if that's cool with you. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't give a fuck. Let's go. So we get over there. And we go into the bar as we're waiting for them downstairs at the bar. And I sit up and roll up to the bar, and I'm like, oh, it's Keith from Prodigy right next to me, with the hair. And I'm like, oh, that's right. They're on Mute Records. I guess we're riding to Lollapalooza
with Prodigy.
Okay. In their limo. No, we're not riding in the limo. Mark from Mute Records comes down. And he goes, I had a few drinks. Here, you drive. Hands me the keys to this Mercedes that they rented. And I was like, all right, I'll drive a Mercedes. You know, I'm good with it. I'll be the chauffeur for the day. We're on, I don't remember the name of it. I want to say it's the 10, maybe, probably, that goes from Los Angeles out to San Bernardino Valley. And Prodigy's in the limo in front of us. We're following behind. Their limo driver does something. I don't know what it was that he did, 'cause this red pickup truck suddenly pulls up next to him, starts beeping the horn, gives him the finger, and then I just see in the back of a pickup truck, like the open window, I just see the guy comes up with a fucking full-size Uzi, points it at the limo. You'd see his head like he's yelling something at him while he's pointing an Uzi at this fucking limousine. And then the limousine veers off, the driver veers off, and I'm sitting here going, wow. Like, holy shit, what are we doing here?
It's the start of your day.
Yeah. And this was literally like 8 a.m. It was 8 o'clock in the morning on our way to load in for Lollapalooza. It was wild.
Normally. Yeah, just naturally.
Normal shit, yeah, everyday life in San Bernardino.
Oh, man, that's wild.
So Ben said the brief. You have not, Rachel. We can cuss. We can, if you say something that you want to take back immediately, just be like, hey, I want to restate that. Give me a pause after you say that. And then that gives me a good clean break for the audio cut. And then we can just loop it back in.
Alrighty.
And nobody will ever know the difference.
Cool.
History erase button.
Yeah, I will know.
Someone will know.
Someone will know. But we talked about it earlier about the New York specific stuff. I want to hit that up. We'll definitely hit up what you do outside of OFT and what you do inside of OFT.
Cool.
Because we've already talked to Ben.
I'm just here for
Yeah,
the
Ben's
ride.
just going to be sitting there.
Ben's just
We've actually already cut off his mic.
So confusing.
We don't know. He's just gesturing in the background. Like, what is he doing?
Is he stroking out? I don't know. No.
But thank y'all for dedicating your day to us.
Thanks for having us, dude.
Yeah, no, we appreciate
this
it.
Does mean a lot to us as well. Just, we work our asses off. So to get recognition by people other than the ones that are coming to us constantly as our students, like that's huge as well. That really makes us feel good about what we're doing. So.
Well, we see y'all a lot of places.
Yeah,
go.
you're popping up everywhere, man.
Do we
Like,
go? We kind of sneak in and just.
Well,
they're
you-
teaching here again. Holy shit!
You kind of like make the tour, don't you? You'll like leave and just kind of roll around and then hit up all the stops, kind of like Steve Fisher style.
It's almost as if 15 years of booking tours for bands and my own band suddenly translated well into this business. It's wild. It's like, this is the same shit I did before.
Yeah.
Except this time with guns instead of like keyboards and guitars.
And if you listen closely, every once in a while, he'll slip up and he'll say, we rolled into the club. I mean, range.
Yeah, I'll say
And it
venue,
happens,
facility.
or venue, yeah.
Or
He'll
we're out on the road,
absolutely
we're on
do
tour.
it.
I mean, we're back home on.
You should just say on tour. I mean, like, it works.
It really fucking is. It's the same shit.
And it's load in the same way that it's load in. It's before doors, before the class starts, getting set up, all of that sort of stuff. There isn't really a sound check as much as there's like, where do my students have to go? Do they have to sign? But it is very similar.
It's funny because people ask me, how do you piece together all these different things? Like, you go from here on this day to this one. I'm like, it's the same shit we did, And like, Chuck came in July.
Yeah.
And at the end of the last day, we were kind of talking, and Chuck's like, man, he's like, I've been trying to get into the Northeast forever, man, and you made this shit happen for me. It was fucking awesome. He goes, you really cracked the code on fucking booking in the Northeast. And I looked at him and I went, bro, I didn't crack the code. And he's looking at me like, what's he going to say? I go, bro, I fucking wrote the code. And he's like, he goes, yeah! His face was like, son of a bitch.
There we go. Yeah!
That's awesome. So how many spots have you hit? Actually, I should probably let you roll in that episode.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll go ahead and do the intro before we get halfway through the episode.
Yeah, we're already 20 minutes in. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, so our guests today on the Big Tex Ordnance Podcast are Ben and Rachel from OnSight Firearms Training, based out of New York.
Yes, currently.
Upstate.
Yeah, ish. Yeah.
Far
For the
enough
rest of the
away
world,
that we
yes.
don't have to deal with it, but when the wind shifts, occasionally we go, yeah, that's right. The city's an hour and 45 minutes away, but, the stench creeps up.
Yeah. But anyways, so we have them on today. We're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. Do you guys want to start? Ben's been a guest before, so we kind of already know him a little bit, but y'all want to talk a little bit about who you are, what you do, and kind of how you got into this?
Well, I will say, it's the same thing that I tell everybody. I'm just a boring civilian that really loves this. I fell in love with it. We both started doing this at the same time. This was a situation where we would both go to the range. Our first date was on a range back in 2001, a long time ago now. And
It's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I joke now. I look back, and if I describe the first date, sounds like the beginning of every crime podcast out there. It sounds like it should be a murder story. I was like, oh, I met this DJ in New York. He seemed cute, and we decided to go to another state and shoot guns. It's just like normal, natural behavior. But yeah, no, we sort of got into the training world ourselves because it was impossible to really find any quality live fire training where we were. And when we discovered it was something that we were serious about, it was like hit the ground running. It became our whole lives. Everything was invested in it. And we had been previously spending a lot of time in a dojo, and we still continued that work in the dojo. But it is very much a martial art for us. So we look at it as it's the amount of effort that you put into it, you get back out of it, and the amount of time and intention and how much you love it is really the defining characteristic of like how much you put in, because this is not something that I force myself to do. I genuinely enjoy learning. It's almost like the side benefit is that I develop skills that will help save my life. But it is an environment where it is a constant challenge, and I am 100% driven towards things that are not easy for me to do. And it always has something new and interesting. And I also benefit from the fact that like we have developed a lot of friendships and a lot of like long lasting people that are important to us, that have been born out of this environment. So it just, there's no such thing as a perfect place or perfect locations or perfect sectors in this world. There's always going to be some ups and downs, but we just kind of fell in love with it, and we never looked back. I mean, it was something that I think we got started, seriously and heavily training in 2008, somewhere in that neighborhood. That was the kind of, all right, let's stop fucking around with this shit. Yeah. So we did the whole thing that everybody else really does, which is casual shooting. It's like, I want to go mag dump into trash. Yeah. Sure. This sounds like a good time, But
turn dollars into noise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
is that an NC Star optic? Yeah, I'll try one of those.
Garbage gear,
gun show,
we made plenty of mistakes.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, absolutely. And
everyone's got the Rubbermaid tub.
The one with like the 3 different colored reticles.
The take some gear, leave some gear tub.
That we were talking about. Yeah. So I mean, we had a very normal path. Like nobody, came to this with this kind of wealth of knowledge. It was all done by trial and error,
Facts.
Exactly. And like, I don't even want to talk about how much money has been spent.
Oh God.
So, I mean, thank God y'all, like everybody these days are spoiled because they have a place like BTO and they know that they're going to have quality gear there. But at the same time, like,
I feel like the old person, like kids these days don't know how good they have it. Like
they
back then we had to go you had to go through the whole process of buying all the crap.
Sure.
And then finding out now, the information age, like
I would go to the store and I'd come back and be like, hey, I got this. Let me try it. Okay, that's not.
It doesn't fit.
Oh, well, throw that away.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it in this box over here for the next 20 years.
Well,
100%.
If you look at like John and Sarah from Filster, right? And the Enigma.
Yeah.
And the amount of work that they've had to do with people coming in, and the first holster they're buying is the Enigma.
Yeah.
And they're like,
that is 100% uphill both ways. Like, you kids these days.
Where did you, like,
I've got $7 worth of holsters over here.
Oh, my God.
How did you even work to, like, how does that happen? And it's all the internet, and it's all social media, and it's all people, hey, you need to go find this, and information, and the community they built, and the work they've done on the education side. And I know I've talked to John half a dozen times, and he's just like, I'm just absolutely blown away that people are getting the first holster is the Enigma system.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to do this whole line because of it. He's like, I'm used to dudes that, found me because they found somebody else, and this is their 14th holster.
Right.
So I'm not having to do any of the...
They skipped the floppy garbage stage.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, that just doesn't...
It is wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because we don't get, like, the questions on our site that the range gets, or, like, how do you put this on, or what optics should I get. That's not stuff that our customer service has to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, it is a fascinating change. Sorry, go ahead.
Holsters are wild because when we first got into this whole thing, you didn't have Filster and Raven.
Yeah, this is back 2008, 2009.
There was
like
you had Phobos and DeSantis and Galco, and if you were really wild, you had Blackhawk Serpa and Safariland, but Safariland were mostly duty holsters, like outside the waistband rigs. But as far as like inside the waistband concealment holsters, Kydex, you didn't have what we have today.
No.
And if you did, you couldn't find it.
I mean,
because if it wasn't in your shop, then it wasn't immediately on the internet, like in your face, like ads.
You were scouring.
It
was scavenge for sure.
Scouring and scrubbing and scavenging.
And I remember like when Raven came about, and it was like, or at least Raven came across. I don't know them well enough to know when they started, but I remember like I didn't see those holsters until like I want to say 2010, 2011, and it was like, ooh, check this hot shit out. It was that was like. I have one of their clear holsters from back in the day when he released that. You know what I mean? And, geez, I don't know. Maybe this is something that was like, just maybe 12 years ago now. But it felt like the Dark Ages. And that was like where gear started to be something more than this mass-produced element. And people were, and this is from all types of reasons. 3D printers were becoming more of a thing, and just the ability to prototype became easier for people. Like the understanding and the ability for computers to, CAD programs, step files, all of this is like very important, but ancillary. It's on the edges, and it's helping these people develop better product faster, sooner. But at the end of the day, back then there just wasn't that, and so
the year 2000. What did you have?
Yeah, the year 2000.
Like when we were like, hey, let's 2000, 2001, 2002,
and we were talking about like our degrees. Like you're putting your like my ridiculous degree that I put to use, but at the same time it was like sit down and craft time. Like you had to make stuff work if you weren't one body type, like you're just like, cool, I have an optic on here, so I'm gonna get the Dremel out because there's no such thing as a Kydex holster that has a cutout for an optic, and I remember getting a gun back from Doug at ATEI in like 2014 or 2015, and it was like, thank God Raven had those holsters, because there still was, you couldn't find, you had to. I remember very specifically trying to find those holsters because of the way the Trigicon sat, just enough to keep the gun out of the holster. And all right, do I want to spend this money on a holster and then get the Dremel out? Do I want it to be craft time? Or it was a very different world. But to get back to your original question, not to get so far off.
It's okay. We like rabbit trails.
Yeah. Rabbit holes are a good time, but
a rabbit ditch.
Yeah, that was like a rabbit. What is the burn
Crater.
or whatever it's called? Anyways, but the reality was, it became something we really fell in love with, and I was, like I said, we were both in the dojo. We were both doing a lot of that work, and it felt very one-to-one to us. And then when we continued to do everything that we were doing and developing our skill sets, and we would come back and we would be around our friends, and they would be like, either, well, I don't want to go all the way up there, I don't want to make that travel, or we know that you teach martial arts, we know that you teach adults now how to move their bodies and understanding of proximities and developing the skill sets behind being effective within the art that we were learning in. There was this kind of moment where people were like, well, can you help me with this? And can you help me with that? And we were already doing the classroom stuff in New York at the time, because in that state, you have to have a permit to possess. We're not talking about just to carry concealed, it's to possess. So, your path to getting a handgun requires a lot of involvement and a lot of commitment in that state. But we sort of realized at the same time that there were a lot of these classroom options. There was nothing on the other side of the classroom. So you're getting your keys to your vehicle that you shopped on the internet for, that you never sat in, that you were talked at about, and then asked to get on the highway. So it put people in a lot of difficult positions, because they're going to a gun shop after a year about difference between when they took their classroom only class where they were talked at by an instructor about the cycle of action, the parts, et cetera, et cetera. If they don't have any background, they're basically back to zero, but they're picking up their pistol from the gun shop. And, they don't have anybody that they want to be able to bounce this stuff off with that they go to work with every day. It's just not the same sentiment or love or interest in firearms. There's a lot of bias. So then they kind of shut down, and they're these islands, and they don't know who to go to, but they've got a gun in the house they don't really understand how to use safely, never mind effectively. So we were like, all right, well, I guess we're going to step up because no one else is stepping up. And that's kind of how we looked at it. And in our area, which was closer to the city, we said, all right, well, we'll fill that gap. I mean, Ben stepped out and made the clear decision that this was something that, he wanted to do full time and invest in. And, I was like, all right, let's do it. I'm going to be here. I'm going to support you. It was something where I was like, if this is something that you really want to do, I will do everything I can to help you with that. And that meant that I would go out with him to classes when I could, because I still had a regular day job. Granted, at that time it was in the industry, but at the same time it was still something where, I'm a 9-to-5er. So I would be able to come out on the weekends when he was teaching on the weekends. And, I really enjoyed teaching adult skills. Like I was never somebody that taught the kids. I generally taught the adults. So there was a lot of translation for me as well. And, we just we grew and grew and grew. And the only reason why we did as well as we did is because, our students kept coming back. So,
Oddly.
Yeah, right.
Can't get rid of them.
How many classes are you teaching in New York alone, or the Northeast, I should say, however that works out?
So,
rough guesstimate's fine.
We have a little circuit that we run, and it's like, now keep in mind there's 6 of us total.
Right.
So me, Rachel, and Sean teach the majority of the classes. Chris, Tom, and Maddie are more on the medical end of things. Maddie and Tom are now starting to get their firearms sort of preparation in order to teach. But Sean does a once or twice a month Monday night fundamentals class, which is for straight beginners. We do every Wednesday night at this local range by the house, and that's intermediate and up. I will then drive to either Cape Cod, middle of Massachusetts, somewhere in Connecticut, or eastern Pennsylvania during the week, once a week, one of those places once a week, and teach. And then we've got every Saturday and Sunday. I'm working, Rachel's working, Sean's working. And sometimes we work together. Sometimes I'll be teaching, Saturday and Sunday in Massachusetts. Rachel's teaching New York, Sean's teaching Connecticut, or just interchange those parts. We normally teach 4 to 5 days a week with 2 days off.
You showed me the calendar.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
There was a lot on your calendar.
If you go to oftllc.us/classes, from now until March, I believe there's 300 classes on the calendar. But keep in mind, that's 6 instructors.
Yeah.
That's here, Rachel here, Sean there, Tom over here, Chris, in some
so
part
for a year, you've got over 300 classes scheduled.
Yeah,
now until
easy.
March about until next year.
Yeah.
And we're still
300 divided by 6 is a pretty decent. That's a pretty decent base.
Oh, we don't fuck around, man.
Yeah, man, I see that.
But we're still filling in. So, I got guys in North Carolina that are like, hey, have you have anything during the week this year that we could squeeze in? And I'm like, yeah, coming back from Colorado in September, because we're doing a couple classes in Colorado. I'm like, yeah, I could fit in North Carolina before we get to the class in Virginia. It's just empty spaces, white spots on the calendar that, my obsessive compulsive disorder.
It's the truth.
Do you
I
ever
can back that up?
I know you do it with Craig right? So like last weekend, you were down in Wallace Orchard with Craig from
Templar Defense.
Templar Defense.
Who's been on this show.
Who's been, good
Great
dude.
dude. Love that dude, man.
Yeah, good dude. Been down there for some of his stuff before. And then you're at BTO Range tonight doing a class, doing a podcast with us now, and then we're rolling right into Symposium.
Yes.
On Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. And so you...
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Did you hit a class on your way down here besides Craig?
So, yes. We left... I don't even remember when we left.
Well, I do, because we just came from Range Master, Master Pistol.
Which date we left?
No, I know. And that was 16, 17. No.
Right.
Was that 3? Yeah, 3 days. 15, 16, 17. We were home for 2 days. Taught Wednesday night.
Yeah, we went from Tennessee to New York.
We left the 20th, something, 21st, 22nd,
20th.
something like that.
2 days back home in New York.
Yeah.
We had a Wednesday night class, and then we left from there to go to Virginia.
On Thursday.
We hosted Fisher for 2 days down in Virginia, and then we went from Virginia on the Monday. We went to South Carolina. I had a class on the Tuesday, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
In South Carolina. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we came down to Texas, had the class on Saturday with Craig. Sunday was Easter Sunday, day off. Did nothing but lay in a hotel and eat food, watch murder shows on TV.
It's a good time.
And then yesterday, came here, spent way too much money. Tonight's the class.
I think he's spending more money here in a minute, too.
I am. I'm going to spend a lot more money.
I just need to keep him here for a couple more days.
We need to have a chat about how much money I'm going to spend, though.
The time on the road just supports this.
Listen, it's all a business expense, right?
But
it's a write-off.
And we leave here. We actually leave
write-off?
Texas on Monday. Go back to South Carolina. I got a class in South Carolina on Thursday. Rachel's heading home to New York because she's got a shotgun class in Connecticut. April 15th. I've got 2 days of rifle and pistol in Virginia on April 13 and 14, and then I have a pistol class. While she's teaching in Connecticut on the 15th, I have a pistol class in New York Monday night. And then the whole thing starts over again, the whole circuit.
After this, what we're going to do is we're going to take you back. We're going to sit down in front of a computer, and I want you to teach me a scheduling class and show me how this works. Right?
So no joke, back in the day, what the hell was it called? It was like Roadmap US, I think it was. And that was the precursor to like Google Maps or Yahoo Maps. And you would put in your destination. You put in your location, then your destination.
Talking about MapQuest?
No, before MapQuest.
Oh, okay.
It was like
right.
Road Maps.
I remember printing off
Road
the
Maps.
MapQuest. You got the whole
Well, you would have to do the same thing, but it would give
when you lose it or a copy would get on the paper.
7.5 hours to your destination, and it would give you a route. And then MapQuest came out, and that whole Roadmap USA was gone. But we would do this, and I'd kind of look and see, like, how long do I want to drive? What time am I leaving? What time do I need to be there? Subtract that shit out. Is there a hotel nearby? Yeah, cool. Book the hotel. How much time do I need to get to where I'm going the next day? What class am I teaching? Because if we're doing shotgun, rifle, and pistol, whatever, by the end of the day, you're smoked. And to hop in the car and go, oh, well, it's 5 hours to the hotel. It's like, no fucking way. Like, I'm going to book right here, and we're going to do most of the driving. We're doing a 9-hour drive tomorrow.
Yeah.
If it's pistol, pistol's a little bit easier to teach. It's not as much equipment. Just fucking shotgun sucks because we usually run it all on steel, so you got all that shit. So pistol, like, I could teach a pistol class and probably drive for 3 or 4 hours. So it's all based upon
you carry the long gun, right? So whether it's slung or not, you're holding on to the long gun. So pistol goes back in the holster.
Yeah.
So
you're smoked.
It's a little less.
So it depends what you're doing, where you're going. What's around there. Like, we've taught in places where there was nothing. Like, you had to drive 2 hours to the next hotel, like, because that was all there was.
He's good at consistently doing it. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that people don't realize is that, like, he will sit down and consistently do this. It's not, I feel like doing this now, like, he'll wake up and consistently get on the laptop and get this stuff done. Like my, unmedicated ADD brain doesn't have that capacity. Like this is not my forte, and it will never be my forte. So I benefit from the fact that this is his forte, but it is not an occasional situation. This is something that he's doing on, like, it is every single day. So be mindful of that. Like, that's the biggest differentiator, because you can understand conceptually how to do it, but actually doing it every day, it's like it's the thing the thing that people develop when we're talking about, like, going to the gym, right, and being consistent with the gym. There are people that you get over that initial hump, and then you're like, I have to do this every single day. That's what the scheduling looks like for this company, and that's something that you do all the time. Yeah. So there is no days off for that.
People
but
have
this
misconception that, like,
you don't
classes,
just show up.
Sounds like a great job. That must be really easy. Just show up, put up your targets, and teach class. It's like, no, dude. The showing up, setting up the range, and teaching classes, that's the easy part.
Yeah, there was like a
making
video.
all of that shit happen behind the scenes. Everything from paying bills, ordering supplies. This is going to sound familiar. Ordering supplies, insurance, range rental fees, paying employees, scheduling, everything.
Inventory on all of those targets,
like,
right?
Yeah, making sure by the end of the tour you still have enough targets left.
Yeah,
for the last
well,
class.
it's
or
like,
that they arrive on time.
Yeah.
If you're having them drop shipped.
That's a story
Not
for
going to talk
another
about
day.
that. Ask Chuck about that.
But perfectly fine to help out.
Hey,
on
the
that,
targets arrive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we actually taught there yesterday. Oh, they arrived today?
Cool.
Can you forward them to the next place we're going? No. Okay. Well, yeah, overnight them. How much is it going to cost?
How much?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck. Click.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are all the ancillary parts. Like Matt from Victory First, posted once on social media, and he was like loading all the steel into the back of his truck. And it's like, he said something along the lines of like, this is the non-glamorous part of this. But,
a ton of it.
It's like, obviously, like Steve was texting before, and this is a guy who's well known for all of his Instagram lives. He's in his truck all the time, and occasionally in his own home. But the reality is like, you're doing all of this other work, and we've posted about it before in our area where we deal with people who are unfamiliar with the training environment. They think that we had a guy who was like asking about private lessons, and he was like, what's the cost on this? We gave him the number, and he was like, oh, that's it's normally $20 when I go and rent the range.
He says, are we getting the whole range? I forget where the hell it was.
And when I go to my regular range, it's only $20 like an hour. I don't understand, why does it cost so much? And we're like, okay, so depending on the person, you spend the time on educating, and sometimes you're just like, well, that's what it is. But the reality is, a lot of people have some understanding that this is going on in the background, but it is exhausting in many ways, because there is we don't have a home range in that sense. We have some places where we can leave some targetry and stuff, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of logistics and a lot of scheduling, and that is exhausting. I mean, that takes a lot of effort to make sure that you stay on top of, and to be able to do that, plan your routes, have all that stuff ready to go, ensure that when you show up to a hotel at 3 a.m. because you decided to make a longer drive, that they have your reservation. You're not fighting, you know what I mean? Like, you're not fighting the front desk people, and then you got to haul all your crap inside. I mean, this is not a complaint. Like, don't get me wrong. It is not a woe is me situation. It's just, that's the other side of this. When you see an instructor standing on the range, they got there before you, right? When you see guys who are like, hey, start time's at 8 a.m., they're there at like 6:30 sometimes setting up. Like, I think, like Dan Brokos tends to start pretty early, right? So LFT, right?
Fellas, we need to be on a range at 7:30 tomorrow morning, ready to go.
Still, it's
Bro, I'm
serious
not in the military,
business, right?
Stop, right?
But the reality
we get there
is,
at 9. Like,
as much as Dan is an incredible instructor and has a great sense of humor, it's serious business, right? So like, all that knowledge that he's laying down, all that information that a student is showing up for, that's serious business. But there's so much other stuff that goes into it. before he steps foot on the range, before anybody else that is teaching steps foot on the range. So that consistency though on the scheduling is absolutely the difference maker.
Yeah.
So
big issue too with the travel end of things. We learned this really quickly in the music industry. When you get to the hotel, anything of value
yes, has to
comes
go in with
out
you.
of the car into the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that means all your rifle boxes, all your ammo boxes, all your range gear, all your pistols.
Yeah, you can't
Like, if
be
you're like,
lazy about
"Oh,
that
man,
stuff.
I'm only staying one night. I'm checking out at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's midnight. Like, some piece of shit scumbag only needs like 10 minutes to rifle through your shit and take
Yeah.
everything. There's been bands that have left all their gear in their trailers, come out the next morning, truck's there, van's there, whatever, trailer's gone. Or the lock's been cut, the doors are open on everything, and everything's gone.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Like
No bueno.
everything you left, your boots are gone.
It's so accurate. Yeah, we've
God,
heard those horror
locusts.
stories. And, you know, it's-
Yeah,
So
it's wild.
anything that is of value or anything that can't be easily replaced by just going to bigtexordnance.com
plug.
has to go into the hotel room, because people don't care what you're doing. They don't care what you've got to do tomorrow. They just see your shit and they go, hey, I want that.
Yeah, I'd like to have that.
Yeah, I like that more than they do, I guess. So that's another aspect, and that can take a good half hour. Once you're exhausted,
Yeah.
and you've just drove for 5, 6, 7 hours, and it's like midnight, and you're like, man, I just want to go in and go to sleep. Nope. Everything out, everything in the hotel room. Next morning, everything back into the truck. Reorganize it. Sucks.
You mentioned on your trip around your world tour,
Coriolis
you
effect.
did the Tom Givens class out at Royal Range.
Yeah, Rachel, Sean, and Tom went for their Master Pistol Instructor certification. I went down to assist Tom with the class. I did my Master last year, and they did phenomenal. They did a wonderful, awesome job. Sean, once again, retained his casino drill.
Yeah, his world record.
World
on
record
that.
status. He did casino in, I think, 10.8.
Yeah,
this
so
time.
he was a little slower than his
Yeah.
908. I think is what his
9.04.
or-
9.04.
What's the
Yeah.
casino drill?
So that's the different the 6 different shapes, different colors, different numbers, and it's 1 round into 1, 2 rounds into 2, 3 into 3, 4 into 4, 5 into 5, 6 into 6, shot consecutively. You've got 3 mags of 7, or sometimes he'll do 6, 7, 8, depending on what he wants to do, and it has to be shot clean in under 21 seconds. Every shot outside of the colors, the shapes, adds a second to your time.
It's done at 5
Yeah,
yards
it's done at
from
5
concealment.
yards, which, you do something at 5 yards and everyone's like, 5 yards. Like, cool. That's why your time is 38 seconds, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
average first
7
time.
reload, but you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Average.
Average first time shooters are going to be anywhere between 25 and 38, just to kind of give you an indication of like what's the first time you've ever attempted this drill.
Yeah.
And this is like someone who's about like 2 seconds to 1.8 out of holster for a solid hit. Okay, just to give us some numbers here, GPS points, so we can understand where we're at. So I think like previous times have been like in the 12s and the 13s. So for him to be in that 9 sector is
That's fast.
insane.
Yeah.
Longest-
It's very fast, and it's on video, so you can go and you can look it up.
That's wild. The longest, I think the longest record holder prior to him was like 3 years. A guy had it. He had done it in 10.5 seconds. My fastest was 14 and change. I think you had 13 and change once.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
was
I
like
think I'm
13,
between
46.
13 and 14 the last time
Yeah.
I ran it when I was
Yeah.
like actually shooting
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, no, and
was,
that's
like,
real
it's like-
life.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did it. He did it in 8.96 when we were practicing
But it
and
only
getting him
counts
ready
if it's in
for.
front of Tom.
He did it last year. It was
Yeah.
9.04, but
It wasn't
during
official.
Yeah, Tom wasn't there. We have it on video, but Tom didn't see like it actually happening. So he did it last year out in Ohio, and I talked to Tom the next day. I called up Tom Givens, and I was like, "Oh, how'd my boys do?" You know, blah blah blah. And he goes, "Sean Martin's got the world record for casino drill." I said, "Yep." He goes, "That boy's gonna be hard to live with." I'm like, dude, you don't even know. He already is.
No, he's really, really good kid. But he is, he's the fast as fuck boy. It's just like, it's insane. He's incredibly talented.
That's fast.
That's very fast.
Doing 3 reloads in that time frame
that takes some people 21 seconds.
Would be moving. Just 3 reloads
Yeah.
in 9 seconds would be moving.
And to be clear about this isn't like, how do I put this? He doesn't like get the 9s and the 8s occasionally. He swims in that environment. That's like all the time. These aren't big spike anomalies. This is like, that's normal. That it's all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so this is what I was saying when I keyed on to you, we were saying like when I was shooting, like he's just there all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's where it's just,
Anomaly.
it's insane to watch. It's insane to watch.
It's inhuman, but
So,
that's what it is.
That's his thing.
Yeah,
And
Mr. Jim Shanahan took top shot that weekend.
Yep.
Jim's from
Absolute
Missouri.
animal.
Also fantastic
Good
shooter.
dude.
really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Really good.
And,
like
and total
super
humble dude.
Yeah.
Like not
super nice guy.
just a chill dude. He's very unsuspecting. You'd never assume that he was like, whoa, that dude's badass motherfucker. Surprised the shit out you, didn't he?
And he's been in the industry for a long time, in the environment a long time. And he's been bending kydex, doing holsters on the down low for an extremely long period of time. And I don't know if he sells much that's not like, I don't even know if you can order off of his website. You might be able to, but he's been doing that and STI grips before STI grips were a thing, and he's been around for a long time.
Cool dude.
That was really nice. So he was Sean's partner, so it was kind of funny because it was like old and young, and I'm using old to just contrast, but it's like it was cool to see they're like 2 kind of stout dudes who are just smoking the line down there. And I
Jim
happened
took
to be
top
next to them.
and
It was
Sean
great.
took second place.
Yeah, but it was a high performing class, I gotta say. We had a lot of really, really excellent shooters in class. I think Tom was saying that it was just like tenths of points that were determining.
At that level for the master, is that what the class was called? The master, range master level instructor course? Was it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
So
master pistol.
You got the 3-day instructor development, and then you've got the 2-day advanced pistol instructor, and then the 3-day master pistol instructor class. Certification class. So, and there was some good people in there. Amy Moses from Virginia, Carter Alphin from Alabama.
Derek was next to me. He's a SWAT cop in
Derek
Louisiana or Alabama. I can't remember. I apologize on that. Another really good shooter, super nice guy, totally normal to like share a line with, and just again, kind of a little you get to a point with people where you realize that you can kind of shit talk a little bit, right? So it's like we got to kind of throw some jabs at each other. It's just, this is kind of harkening back to what I was saying before. It's like you meet people who are like, I like this brain. I like what's going on over here. This person's like cool, gets it, has a sense of humor, humble, but ready to rock and serious about what they're doing. And it's always awesome to meet those types of people.
I did get a kick out of seeing some of the pictures though, because there was the line, and then there was your hat. Like it was like everybody's up here shooting, and then there's
short
like,
see this hat hovering.
Who's that? That's Rachel. There she is. There's that little hat.
Is it a short person with a velocity hat? Yeah, velocity assistance hat. Potentially me. That's the world I live in, which is constantly rained on with brass.
You just try to get it to the far left
Listen,
line.
yes,
every
like
time.
pretty much.
You got to hand it to short people.
Yeah, there it
'cause
is.
They can't reach it
can't reach
themselves.
Yes, yeah, yep. So it's just me and Sean being short towards the
They're
end.
low to the ground and closer to hell, which is why they're so good at what they do.
What did you like best about that course? Like, I've always wanted to, back when I was really training and doing the instructor part, like, I was like, I'm going to take range man, just get the basic range master done. And then everything else happened. But like, so what was your journey to get there? You took, I assume you took all the other 2 classes.
Yeah, you can't be there without
skip
getting
one.
the other ones.
Right.
Specifically about that course, what did I like? I think we were chatting about this because we drove. The whole team drove down to that location, so we got some time in the car to kind of talk about stuff.
Mom and Dad took the kids for a ride.
And the history lessons, I think, were really impactful because, and it's not to downplay the shooting work that we did, but to Tom's point, a lot of it is just not held on because there aren't college courses on this stuff, right? Because you don't really have a lot of institutions who are interested in the backgrounds on the types of grips on revolvers or stocks, technically, right? So there aren't classes on how we developed some of the training that we have and where they come from. To some degree in criminal justice, you're going to get some of these background elements, but there really isn't like this idea of an academic way of looking at some of this history. And to his point, is it gets lost, and we see these cycles come back in on the product side where you see some of the adaptations or the potential solutions done in product design to solve a problem. And then also it happens in the training world as well. And this, you'll hear frequently from certain people. They'll say, hey, this is not new. We're doing something similar to this in, 1998. Now it's back, right? So that dialogue also happens on ranges. So it was really interesting to see that encapsulated in a course-like format. We happen to be at Royal Range, which has an amphitheater, like an angled classroom. So it kind of emphasized this almost collegiate atmosphere where everybody's kind of sitting in those staggered rows, taking notes with our paperwork that he provides, the booklet that he provides. And I think that's another example of it takes a lot of work to put something like that together, and it isn't just the seat of the pants. It's not something that we're standing on the range and, yes, it's from experience, but that prep takes a lot of work. And I really appreciated that because it's no longer me, putting pieces together through a internet search and Wikipedia, and that shit's not going to be on Wikipedia. Like no one is going to be talking about some of those things on Wikipedia because there's so much bias towards this world. So everybody's so ready to get rid of it in academia because guns are bad. And now here we have someone who's preserving that. So I think that for me was the most meaningful because I cannot get that from other types of training courses. Or I shouldn't say I can't, but I don't believe that's as common. So then therefore, me getting that information I think was very valuable. I also, I like that he reinforced this idea that we're gonna make sure that we cover some techniques for your left-handed students. We're gonna make sure that we cover revolver and understanding how to craft an argument for a student beyond the fact that the size of the gun and the trigger weight on a DA revolver may not be appropriate for someone because the old adage like, hey little lady, here's a Ladysmith, here you go, here's an Airweight 357 with a 12-pound trigger press, like the most parroted, like foundationless response to a female walking into a gun shop. And you can use it as a litmus test whether or not you want to turn on your heel and skedaddle. So when you have someone who has a little bit more knowledge but asks you questions, to not be able to articulate that just makes you look like a fool. It's like, why are you even standing there as someone who has an education and expecting people to take what you have to say seriously if you don't have a real understanding of why this may not make sense for someone. So the revolver deep dive was good. Did it make me a revolver person? No. Did I enjoy shooting revolver? I ended up enjoying the revolver that I shot. Is it, does it make me need to go, across the street and go like, hey, I'm going to go just scoop up all these revolvers? Probably not. Don't let Ian hear this, right?
He's about to confess to that right now.
He's going to,
Did you
100%.
need a revolver?
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
say
I heard,
Well, anyway, I started blasting.
100%. Like his senses are tingling. But it's a world that I understand better now. So, I did appreciate that. But, I think those were big elements for me. I think it also made a lot of people get out of their comfort zone when it came to like teaching, as we talked about before. We have a huge schedule, so we're doing that on a regular basis. We're standing in front of people and talking to strangers on a regular basis. But I think it was important for other people to have to do that who have maybe not as packed a schedule, who aren't doing that as on a regular basis. But those would be like my high points, is a history and being able to stretch your legs a little bit with the wheel gun.
Yeah, the history is a big thing. I really love seeing where this all came from, how it all started. Like a lot of people equate, Jeff Cooper, Colonel Cooper did wonderful things. But going back to like Bill Jordan, Jelly Bryce, Charles Askins, like all the guys that really kicked off a lot of what we do today, like what we would not have if had not been for, these guys in late 1800s, early 1900s, whatever, bringing this stuff up. So the history end of things, I mean, every class with Tom, very similar to every class with Fisher, I end up on my phone going, okay, purchase that. Okay, purchase that. But with Tom, it's books. With Steve, it's gear. With Tom, it's always books. So I probably bought 3 books. While I'm sitting there watching him teach the class to them, I'm sitting here on my phone like,
thank you, Amazon.
I should probably have that one in the library. What's that book? Oh, yeah, I should probably buy that one too. And then the other thing that I really, really like about those classes, especially like the advanced and the master level, is you never know who you're going to be in class next to. Like I did the master down in Bandera, and a bunch of Tim Reedy's instructors were in the class, and the guy next to me in my group, I was in group 1, and the dude next to me was this big bald dude, built dude, and I'm like, hey man, what's your name? He goes, my name's Wayne. And I said, cool, Wayne, where are you from? I'm from Dallas. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm sitting here shooting, and I'm like, you're not Wayne Dobbs, are you? Yeah, I'm Wayne Dobbs. I'm like, oh shit, how you doing? Like, from Hardwired Tactical, like you just end up on the line with people that you've either heard about, read about, watched, and just
I would say the
surprised,
quality
like,
of the people that are there are definitely very high. That's also like, again, one of those like kind of software benefits where you're like, this is cool to be in a room with people who are like that hungry for this.
Yeah, I got invited in the beginning of December to go down to Tom's professional trainer symposium that he had in Nashville at Royal Range. And it was like me, some of my buddies, Ashton Ray, Tim Chandler, Tim Kelly, Masada Ayub, John Holchel, John Farnham, Chuck Haggard. There was so much talent and just legends in that room. And here I am in this room with like people that for the past decade or so I've been hearing their names as like, these are the best instructors in the business, and here I am in a room with them like, the fuck am I doing here? So, and that was cool. And then we had a shoot off, and I'm not going to say who won, and I'm not going to say who got top shot, but it was pretty fucking cool. But here I am in this room with these guys like, wow. I'm in a room with legends like there's Masada Ayub. Holy shit, is that him? Yeah, that's him. Wow. It's John and Vicky Farnham. Wow. Like these names. And that's the cool thing, is that you just never know what you're going to be walking into. So that's always a cool little bonus to it all. apart from what you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do y'all have coming up next? I know like this is probably going to be released a little bit later on,
Okay.
but I guess check out the website probably is the best answer to
Well,
that question since there's
we've
300 in the next year.
We've got all of our classes all up and down the East Coast, from Texas to Pittsburgh to Maine to Florida, that whole section of the country. We're going out in September to do a class for Swamp Fox, little rifle pistol action. But we're also hosting a bunch of people. So we're hosting
Chuck.
in June.
No.
In June, we're hosting Bob Keller for a couple dates, Tim Herron, our buddy, for a couple dates.
Fuck Tim Herron.
Hashtag fuck Tim Herron.
Ben has to carry around an extra like booster seat in his car
I do.
whenever Tim's with him.
So you know the fuck Tim Herron patches?
Yeah.
You've seen those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rachel made those.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just
whole other
knock that out
story,
randomly.
whole other rabbit ditch to get into. July is kind of open. August we're hosting Aaron Cowan in New York.
Okay.
All through June, September, like almost every other month of every calendar year, we host Steve Fisher in either Pittsburgh, New York, Connecticut, Virginia, or all of them. Fantastic dude.
And if this is out before May.
Yeah. October, I'm actually on the road with Dan Brokos, and we're doing rifle pistol
Oh, nice.
teaching together for about 3.5 weeks. And then pretty much the entire month of November, from October 31st to like November 23rd or so, I'm on the road. Me and Chuck are on the road together for season 2 of the Chuck and Ben show.
Yeah, that seemed to work out pretty well last year.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
He's
Chuck
really
and Ben
just doing this so he
co-starring-
can hang out with Misha.
Co-starring Misha, Tina, Louise.
I think we should send Brendan just to be on the road with them and do like a
Little
reality show.
docuseries.
Oh,
a little
yeah.
reality
That would be
show.
sick.
If you want to do that, I'd be like, yeah, man. Like, he's just going to film it like it's a reality TV show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then December, wind down a little bit in December and just try to then book around SHOT Show for January.
Yep.
Which is always a thing, because I'm like, all right, I got to be here on these dates. How do I get from here to here and then back to here? So you'll probably see me, hopefully, back through here, across the street, either the week before and or the week after SHOT Show. If we could, I'd have to talk to the boss, see if we could make that happen.
Well, Maddie's in the other room.
Yeah, I know how this works. But if I got to drive through here and I got to drive back, we might as well
do it.
Good use of it. And then 2025, we're scaling back on hosting a little bit. We're probably going to definitely be hosting Chuck Haggard. Bill actually sent me a message. I don't know if you saw that one flyer that we did, and it's like the strips of everybody. It was like Cowan, Fisher, Keller, Herron, Brokos, like all the instructors, and we kind of put it up everywhere. And I get a message, like, bring Facebook Messenger. Bill Blowers. Hey, bro, you forgot one dude in that flyer, you know. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. We've never met, Bill and I, so we're going to meet on Friday or Thursday.
Nice.
I'm like, dude, I never met you. Like, I don't know who you are. Like, I've never taken a class with you. We've never talked.
Just like triggering him the whole time. What?
I'm like, but I am more than willing to sit down with you and talk about it, and let's do it for 2025. Fuck yeah. Why not? I've heard great things from everybody. So that's another, like, sort of little symposium box bingo card that I got to fill is get some stuff done with him. But and then Eric Gelhaus. We're gonna host Gelhaus, and of course, all through the year we'll be hosting Fisher in 37 different states. Some
Fisher might be here already.
Yeah, I think I heard him out there.
Oh,
somewhere.
did you? Yeah,
I heard a big ruckus.
Robble. I heard Knuckles dragging on the floor.
He hasn't texted me yet though, so
he's got a glass up to to the wall listening right now.
I'm surprised he just didn't walk in and sit down.
He's at the range right now.
We host Steve as much as we can. He's been a huge influence on us. He's like a very
100%.
great friend as well. So, you know, anything that he wants to do, I'm just like, yeah, man, we got you.
Is the weather nice in New York or up northeast in June, July timeframe?
Yeah,
I'm saying nice.
The summer is, I mean, it kind of depends on where you're at. Like, but we see real extremes, and so when we
Like
have
it gets up to 86.
no, so
You won't see my ass down here in July.
Yeah, no.
You guys can
Listen,
make this weather.
On sustained heat, you have us beat all day. But what we have is, and what's problematic is that we will see like 100-degree days, and then it'll be in like some 90s. It'll hover, but we'll see those spikes, but they happen in it's like a week, and then it's like not like that, and then it's just in the high 80s, early 90s. That's like our summer weather. But and then in the winter, like it's been 2, it's been 9. I mean, like,
No.
that's it.
-5.
There's no other numbers involved. You know what I mean?
So
So
I
we
do this-
No other
see
numbers
opposite extremes. So he'll book based off of the weather,
so
right?
the
So we
scheduling
try and
thing-
avoid Florida and Texas in the summer for obvious reasons.
The
But
scheduling thing, like just the past couple of years, I've sort of figured it out. Like 10 years ago, I was like, man, I am not booking New Hampshire again in February. Fuck this. This is bullshit. And then the next year, here I am in New Hampshire in February, standing up to my knees in snow with a rifle going, God damn it, I got to remember, next year, don't do this shit again.
and he
So
was
now-
alone,
Yeah.
by the way,
Oh,
because
God.
I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to the top of a freaking mountain
busy
in
that day.
February.
So now-
like I got stuff to do. I
If
got
it's November
day job stuff.
to April, I'm like, hey, I need classes down in like South Carolina, Virginia,
Yeah,
Florida,
yeah.
Texas, whatever. And then if it's like April to like end of October, I'm like, hey, yeah, let's do New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, Ohio, Michigan, wherever there's like still nice, bearable weather. And then somebody will be like, hey, do you want to come down to Texas in August? And I'm like, nope.
Fuck you.
Click. Like, you missed me by about 5
You
years.
guys live here. You
motherfucker.
don't want to be outside at that time. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
Which is why I'm trying to figure out where I need to go for a class this summer.
I straight
Yeah,
up
it'll be
stopped
up by
taking
us.
outdoor classes like basically May through like
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
I believe
Indoor
it.
ranges are cool. I
Yeah.
like indoor ranges, especially if
They're
you want to
just
do
loud
low light or
and
you want to do a
concussive.
nighttime class. But
Gassy.
Yeah,
I would so much rather be like outdoors. So if you guys were to buy that outdoor range that's down the road and kick all the trap and skeet guys out and start putting berms up everywhere, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to get a house in Texas for November to April.
So, like, we have a covered over range in New York that's a 50 covered over range, which is awesome. And that is, it's nice and wide. You can fit like a healthy, like 16 people all the way across it.
Yeah.
It's a big location. So that's killer. And those are perfect days. And like in June, those are your perfect days. Those are like that, like 80, 82, but you've got the cover over, so you're in the shade. There's
Got
like
no
a
fail
light
pistol written all over
breeze.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So you might need, you know what I mean? Like we'd have to figure it out because our state, like I mentioned before, we offer no non-resident. There's somebody in court right now fighting that in New York for handguns unless you are able to carry federally. So if you have like LEOSA, it's still referred to as HR 218, but incorrectly. However, everybody knows that, so it's whatever. But that's the only caveat. It's like New York is a little funny about that unless you have some federal. Some federal friends in that neighborhood, but that range is absolutely perfect for that. It's gorgeous.
Have to check out the schedule then.
But
Well, we appreciate your time
Yeah, man.
today.
Thank you.
We'll go get some lunch here and see if Fish is out pushing this shopping
Got a
basket
shopping
around.
cart out.
Is he across the street or is
well,
he here
last
now?
time he texted me was like, so 16 minutes ago, he's at the range.
He's
Cool.
he's
So
still
he may
picking on
be
Jake
making.
probably.
So if you hung out this whole time, let us know in the comments what you thought about the episode. Hit these guys up at what's the website?
OFTLLC.us. And you can either search by upcoming classes by date, or you can search by state.
Nice.
So if we have a class in your state, just click on that state. And
Just on a list for you.
Mr.
try to
Fancy
make it
Pants.
as easy as possible.
That's awesome. Well, once again, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
and
man,
thank you
Absolutely.
for tuning in, listening, watching, whatever. Give us a like, subscribe, and comment. And stay strapped or get clapped.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. But I'm Gene.
Oof.